What's up, guys? I am the one and the only DJ Aub Cob. It's currently about 12:30 here in Clemson's campus, and I've actually got a special treat for you guys today. I am going to be doing a feminist specialty show. I will only be playing female musicians and artists, and I've got some fun statistics, educational statistics to share with you guys. I'm just going to inform you guys on what feminism is and what not, but I'll do that on my next break. I'm going to get you guys started with some good feminism, girl power, empowerment music, and so we're going to start.
Question what the TV tells you. Question what a pop star tells you. Question mom and question dad. Question good and question bad. If history could set you free,
Except for your own. Following that, we just listened to two Marina and the Diamonds songs. The first one was called Hollywood, and the second one was Sex Yeah. And I really, really like the Sex Yeah song because it is a perfect, it embodies perfectly how women are portrayed in the media, and that we are really only viewed for our bodies and sexualized very often. And I've got some statistics to share with you from the representationproject.org. If you've ever heard of or if you've seen the documentary, it's actually on Netflix. You can watch it if you'd like. It's called Misrepresentation, MISS space representation. Little play on words for you there too. The mission for this is from their website. I got it off of their website. It says, our mission is using film as a catalyst for cultural transformation. The Representation Project inspires individuals and communities to challenge and overcome limiting stereotypes so that everyone, regardless of gender, race, class, age, sexual orientation, or circumstance, can fulfill their human potential. And this documentary does a fantastic job of really everything. I was required to watch it for my Women in Leadership class with Professor Sadika Kumanyaka, and it was honestly life-changing, and it inspired me to make my own documentaries. One day I plan to make feminist documentaries. But some shocking statistics I've got from the website as well is about women of color and the top 500 films. So just 6 of the top 500 box office films of all time feature a protagonist who is a woman of color. Of these 6 films, only 1 is live action, and the other 5 are animated films. And these titles I'm about to share with you, none of them are on the top 200. This includes Pocahontas, Mulan, Spirited Away, Lilo and Stitch, The Princess and the Frog, and Sister Act. And the only one live action film on the list, which was Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg, was released over 20 years ago. And none of them were directed by women. Kung Fu Panda 2 is the only film in the top 500 directed by a woman of color. Her name is Jennifer Ya. And Hollywood rarely makes movies by or starring women of color. This means 36% of U.S. moviegoers are people of color, and the majority of the world's population is too. However, less than 5% of films in wide release in 2013 starred women of color, and even fewer were directed by women of color. And everyone, they like to emphasize that everyone deserves to be represented in this media, which I think is very, very important. So, and I think that last song I just played, Sex Yeah by Marina and the Diamonds, fits perfectly along with these statistics I just shared with you. Today. And just real quick, I want to give you guys the purest, simplest form of feminism, because there's a big misconception as to what feminism is. Feminism is essentially, you believe in the equality of the sexes. That means socially, political, and economic equality in both males and females. That's all it is. So you just want equality. And so I find it hard to believe that there are women out there that consider themselves anti-feminist, because it's like, okay, like, you don't consider yourself to be a human being and you deserve rights. And lastly, this is the only male I will play on my show today. His name was Benny, and that song was called Little Game, which was the last one we just heard, which I think perfectly exemplifies everything that I am trying to tell you guys, that it's just not fair. These gender roles, these stereotypes that our society has placed on both men and women. It's very, very harmful and detrimental to our society. And thanks to the representationproject.org, where I've found all this information that I'm providing you guys with this afternoon, I think that we really can make a difference. No matter how I try to be just
Ask one of the guys. There's a little something inside that won't let me
share with you guys. And this is actually from the film Misrepresentation that I was talking about earlier, you guys. But here's some shocking statistics for you guys. So American teenagers spend 31 hours a week watching TV, 17 hours a week listening to music, 3 hours a week watching movies, 4 minutes a week reading magazines, and 10 hours a week online. That's 10 hours and 45 minutes of media consumption per day, that's insane. And as I previously mentioned, a lot of the media includes very harmful gender stereotypes. In 2011, only 11% of protagonists in films were female. That number is way too low, especially because women consist of more than half of the population. I think we consist of 51% of the population in the United States. So what is up with that? And between 1937 and 2005, there were only 13 female protagonists in animated films. All of them, besides one, had the aspiration of finding romance. Now, what are we telling young girls that are watching these movies? Oh, you need a man. You need to find romance. That is why you are alive. That is what you're here to do, is to just find a man and please a man. And that is not the case. We need to please ourselves. We are very, very important. I mean, I just said we are more than half of the population. But listen, more statistics in regard to Hollywood's gender bias. Less than 1/4 of films feature a female protagonist, even less feature leads that are women of color. 29% of speaking characters in top Hollywood films are women, and those that do appear are 4 times more likely to be sexualized or wearing revealing clothing. Does this happen to men? No, of course not, because men, we are just seen as the objects of desire. We are only put on earth to please the man, which is just not right. Let's be real. That is not what we are here to do. We are all human beings. We all deserve equal and fair treatment, regardless of our gender. I just find it really does. It upsets me very, very much. I'm very, very passionate on this. Once I took Elizabeth Adams' class, and as well as Diane Perpich, I took her Theories of Gender and Sexuality. Those classes really opened my eyes to what society has done to us. And I remember reading in Theories of Gender and Sexuality, Simone de Beauvoir, an article or a paper she wrote. The phrase that sticks out to me is, women are not born, we are created. And essentially, we are created due to these stereotypes, and we reinforce them generation after generation. And, just think about it. When we were born, boys, you're dressed in blue, and girls, girls are in pink, and it even starts before children are born. Like, as soon as they find out the sex of the baby, they're like, okay, I need to go buy all these boy clothes. The room needs to be blue. The room needs to be pink. I need to get her these toys. I need to get him these toys. He can only play with race cars. She can only play with dolls. Like, that's just not okay. We should let children decide what they want to play with. It really grinds my gears, and I do not understand it. I will never understand it. Moving on, it says, males outnumber females 3-1 in family films. In contrast, females comprise just over 50% of the population in the United States, something I mentioned previously. And even more staggering is the fact that this ratio, as seen in family films, is the same as it was in 1946. So, I was on Tumblr the other day, actually, and I was reading, I think, there was a poll, and only 18% of Americans consider themselves to be feminist. Which that number is very, very low. It should be 100% because, let's be real. But another statistic for you is that men occupy 80 to 95+% of the top decision-making positions in American politics, business, the military, religion, media, culture, and entertainment. Which, that is just not all right, especially considering that women consist of, I believe it's approximately 51% of the population in America. So why are our voices not being heard? That doesn't accurately show what is actually going on, like how we feel. Like, why is it that men get to make decisions in politics about what we can and cannot do with our bodies? They are our bodies, and nobody owns them besides myself. I can do whatever I want, and nobody should be able to tell me that I can and cannot do something. It's appalling. It really, really is. And I can't emphasize to you how important it is that we overcome these gender stereotypes and do not give in to them, and also do not reinforce them. Do not know that I've been sharing some awfully depressing statistics, but that's honestly just the reality of it all. But I don't want to discourage you guys from being able to work past these sexist realities. There are definitely ways we can overcome it. And one of the infographics I saw on the representationproject.org website was that it suggests that it's not about dieting, it's about a lifestyle shift. So try being conscious of your media consumption, focus on achievement over appearance, value yourself, be a role model, get involved. Like, you can boycott harmful media or use your voice to create change online and off, just like I'm doing right now, because all of our voices count. And lastly, something I want to share with you guys is I think it's really important to be a leader. It really is, and I know I'm in a women in leadership class right now, and I definitely would recommend if you have the opportunity to take any of the women's studies courses, because they will open your eyes to the injustices that are going on in our society, and it's really taking those classes I found my meaning and my purpose of life. But I just want to leave you with this quote. It's from Sheryl Sandberg. She wrote in her book The Will to Lead. She says, "Ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And then go do it." This quote has become my go-to for inspiration, and every day I try to do one thing that I consider myself to be afraid of, because, nothing's going to happen unless we step outside of our comfort zones, and we really do have to go out there. Even if I consider, if I just even get through to one person, if I educate them and I let them know what actual feminism is, or the goals of feminism, or, anything, just sharing these statistics, as long as I get through to one person and make them think that maybe the beliefs that they hold aren't true, then I feel like I'm planting the seed, and maybe someone else will come along and it'll help them flourish. They can water it. We women, we have the power. We have the numbers as well. So just get out there and do your best and try to overcome the sexist reality that exists. For sure, because it's very, very important that we break these stereotypes, these glass ceilings that have been set up for us, for this patriarchal society that men benefit from. All men benefit from this, but really, essentially no one is actually benefiting from this. It's only hurting us. So I'll leave you guys, though. Thank you very, very much for listening to my show today. I know it was a lot of me ranting about the inequality that exists between men and women in our society, but, these are issues. These are very, very important issues that need to be brought to light. So I hope that I have challenged you to think differently on the views that you may or may not hold. But